Wow. Okay, now I have to do that intro all over again. Ah. I am such a fucking boomer. All right. What I was saying was, for those who do not know, I dropped a hint on Twitter that basically gave a hint that I was not going to be alone on this stream. Consider this a return to form, because I am joined by my business partner, one of my best friends, the Hatman. Hatman, say hello.
Hello.
So it is like old times. Hatman and I taking on morons, because Jesus fucking Christ. So, where do we begin with this? Actually, let me give a little bit of an intro. For those who don't know, reason I did not have a stream last week is because I needed a fucking vacation. All right, look, I needed a week off. I have been doing the YouTube grind on top of running a fucking publishing company and all this other stuff. It drains you, to say the least. But yes, for those who do not know, this down here is Hatman. He's my business partner, former podcast partner, only because he's now transitioning from being... See, he's transitioning. He's a special person. But he's turning into lawyer man. And
Which is, in fact, why I'm here today.
Yes, because, oh fuck me, is this one of the dumbest things that we've ever seen? So, where to begin with this? Like, when did I make that video about these fucking idiots claiming that anime was banned?
I have no idea. It's been a while.
I want to say it was like 3 months ago. And
really, feels like it's been longer than that.
I know, right? It's time on the internet. But I just remember seeing fucking it recommended on YouTube that Texas is banning anime. I'm like, banning anime? That doesn't sound very Texas. So I looked up the bill, and I did the one thing that other content creators don't seem to be able to do. I read it. and then found out that it's not banning anime at all. So we went through all that. We've had a couple of streams about it. And Hatman, you've read through the bill. What is your general take about what it is effectively going to do?
It's going to do nothing different than previous laws that have been enacted in other states, and even one federal law. Well, one federal law that was enacted in 2003. However, I will put an asterisk by that, because the only thing it does do different is it has. We'll talk about the vagueness of it later on, but it does have a little spot in there where it says depictions of anyone that appear to be under 18. The appears to be is doing a bit of heavy lifting, but we'll get into the details of it later. That's really the only thing that it's doing different from all these other obscenity laws.
Yeah, let me actually address something in the chat right out of the gate. Shadow Sonata says, the real problem with the SB20 is the language is vague. If it was about banning generative AI, it should have stated that specifically. Well,
it does.
It says right here, or an image created using an artificial intelligence application or other computer software.
It's right there in black and white.
Quite literally, like I'm highlighting it for you right now. Folks, this is what I mean by, I don't hold it against you guys in the chat. Or people that are commenting, unless you're an asshole about it, in which case I'm going to rake you over the fucking coals. But if you're nice and respectful, I give what I get. Basically, is sort of like the whole thing is. Some people legitimately believe, because they trust content creators. I remember when I was first getting into journalism, back when I was just writing for a newspaper. And my boss, oddly enough, was my dad. And one thing he said to me over and over again, he said, it is important to get all the accurate information because people trust you. And if people don't trust you, if it's found out that you lied to them, you're going to be without a job. And
unless, of course, you work for BuzzFeed.
Yeah. Well, even
then you're out of a job for a different way.
Well, even then, like, the reason that a lot of these, they can blame Gamergate for them losing traffic as time went on. But what started that movement? Journalists lying about things.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're in a similar situation. So, but this is basically what we're dealing with. So, at this point, the bill, like, it's been passed. It was signed by the governor. Abbott is still the governor.
It went into effect there, right? Yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, it went into effect yesterday. And lo and behold, it is not banned in Texas. So you can consult the clankers if you want. In fact, I actually did. Then I asked it some specific questions. So I said here, because I typed in something wrong. I said, the Texas SB20 says, known as the Stopping AI, guys, it's literally in the title, Stopping AI Generated Pornography Act. And even then, that's a little misleading because, I didn't read a word in there. Stopping AI Generated Child Pornography Act.
That's kind of an important one.
Yeah. But it creates new criminal offenses for possession, promotion, and production of obscene visual material that appears to depict a child under 18. And I flat out asked it the questions. Does it ban anime? The answer is no. Anime as a broad term is not banned. Specific anime could fall under the scope if it meets the legal definition of obscenity and depicts minors in a sexual manner. Hatman's going to go over this here in a second. And I said, I simplified it that, actually, you know what, Hatman, go ahead and explain obscenity, and then we'll get into the explaining like I'm 5 with that so people can kind of understand it in basic language.
Okay, so obscenity is something that's not covered by the First Amendment. I mean, this is material that is not considered free speech, basically. Pornography, as it stands, is not considered obscenity. I know there are some people who are going to try and argue that pornography is obscenity. No, it's not. So obscenity is defined by the Miller test, which was established in the 1973 case Miller v. California. Three-prong test. The average person has to apply contemporary community standards. That means that it's an objective standard. And they have to find the work taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest, which means it has to be made with the intent to get people off. Just plain and simple. Second prong, whether it depicts or describes in a patently offensive way, which means like ridiculously offensive to those, again, contemporary community standards, another objective standard, sexual conduct or expiratory functions, and then state law is going to define that, as we'll learn with the Texas Penal Code. And the third prong is whether the work taken as a whole lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. This is where your anime is going to come into play. Even stuff like hentai that may depict underage kids. Somebody on Twitter the other day was saying, well, maybe Neon Genesis Evangelion is going to be banned because it depicts kids in sexual situations. Does it have artistic value outside of that? Yeah. Yes. Okay, then it's not obscene.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand.
Quick pause. Somebody donated a little bit of money, so I want to shout them out real quick. Link to DO2 says, so what exactly is being stricken? Because some disingenuous content creators are claiming it's covering anime as a whole. Basically, and it says strictly in the bill exactly what it's looking for. Let me make this big again. A person commits an offense if the person, 1, knowingly possesses with an access to with intent to view or promotes obscene material containing a depiction that appears to be of a child younger than 18 years of age engaging in activities described by Section 4321. We can go over penal code later. We'll probably have to.
Shorthand of it, though, but shorthand of it is that's Texas's obscenity law, and it matches Miller a lot.
Yeah. And then it goes into here, regardless of whether the depiction is an image of an actual child, a cartoon or animation, or an image created using an artificial intelligence application or computer software. It is effectively looking for AI and animated child pornography. Mostly AI is the big thing. The one part that people seem to get confused by is when it says here appears to be of a child. The way that this is meant in legalese, and this is where people will get confused, is using this particular phrase means it's acknowledging that it is a fictitious work. That this isn't an actual child that has been drawn, it is a drawing of a child character. You know. So, but I could see why people would get confused. That right there is confusing legalese, because that phrase could also mean, you know, well, what it brings up the lolly debate, right? Because the lolly debate is eternal. Well, what if it's Dancing the Vampire Bund and they're really 300 years old and they're a shapeshifter? That goes into what Hatman was talking about with obscenity law. But the other thing that it specifically talks about is, as Hatman mentioned, the Miller test, the idea of whether or not it is something that engages the prurient interest, and then on top of that, also, it doesn't have any artistic value. So, I simplified it. Grok broke it down in easy language to understand. So here's the question I asked it, and I said, so it would need to purely appeal to sexual desire on top of having no artistic value. So what this means, if that simple language is still too confusing, because I'm of the opinion that the best thing to do for people is to just break it down in simple terms. Griffith raping Casca would not be considered obscene because it is vital to the plot for that to happen. Now Casca is above the age of 18 in that. I think she's like 21, 22, something like that. But that would not work because it's part of it. You used Evangelion. I'm so fucked up. That scene. That also wouldn't be flagged because it's not meant to titillate at all. It's in fact the way that scene is presented is pretty fucking disgusting, and that was Anno's intent, is for it to be disgusting. So the basic thing that we have here is, and this is the other thing that like kind of pisses me off about it, is that people are trying to say that the whole bill is vague when they take like one sentence out of context. And it's like, do you want to know what seems like it's vague whenever you take it out of context? Fucking everything. Like, that's not an argument. It's just yammering for the sake of yammering. Linked throws in another $10. He says, so basically if it's smut of Lolly, Shota, or any character under the age of 18 in its given canon is basically banned and removed from being accessible to the general public. Not necessarily.
No, it has to, again, lack serious artistic or literary value. Like, if it's just smut for the sake of smut, like, and it has no other qualities about it, then it's probably going to fall under the obscenity thing. But lolly art is in a bit of a gray area because nobody has really tested it, and there's actually Supreme Court precedent to suggest that drawn images, like lollies would be, are in fact protected by the First Amendment.
Which is something that some people don't know about because, again, they don't look this shit up. The precedent for protecting nudity and sexuality within the First Amendment and within just the concept of freedom of speech is a lot more extensive than you'd realize.
Yes.
What they are looking for here is something very specific, because that's where the Texas Penal Code comes in. What are your thoughts on Jast being banned? So they lied, to put it shortly. They're not telling the truth. So I actually contacted the. Did you hear about the Jast story, Hatman?
I did not. No, I'm completely unaware of this.
So they are a Dojin like company that sells porn Dojins and stuff like that. Had
Okay.
a booth at a convention in San Antonio over the weekend, and they were asked to leave after the first day, and they claimed that it was due to the possibility of that the SB 20 going into effect. The problem is SB 20 didn't go into effect until Monday. So why would they? That didn't make any sense to me. So I did a little digging into the Texas Penal Code. Guess what you can't do in Texas? Sell porn in public.
Oops.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to be honest. I might have made a mistake in my life writing for the one publication that would pretty much guarantee I'd never get hired by another one again in regards to at least political discussion. But one thing you can't say is that I'm not a good fucking journalist, because I am. I reached out for comment from both parties. Jast was oddly silent. I actually got a reply from the convention. Now, the reply from the convention is, we're not going to be, we don't really have anything to say about it. So they didn't feel the need to expand on the fact that they kicked him out. But when I dug more into it, the Jast story did not match up. It didn't make any sense. I have a feeling that they said what they said because they knew it would gain them favor on the internet space, not because there was any truth behind it.
I'm sure.
So, yeah, they're full of shit. Because they also said that the law was not involved. You know, it's like they just were asked to leave and they left. So, yeah, it's absolutely bullshit. So in short, she be clickbaiting again. It's not even clickbaiting. Like that's what aggravates me the most. Like,
it's outrage for me.
It's a fucking lie. This right here, this image, anime is banned now. This is not clickbait. This is a lie.
And not to mention the claim that it could go as far as to ban normie shit like Family Guy. Like, come the fuck on. Are you fucking kidding me?
This midget with a fucking pedo stash, and both Hatman and I can call him a midget. We're both really fucking tall. This fucking midget with a fucking pedo stash lies constantly about the law. Lies constantly. I've caught him in lies on this. I've caught him in lies on the other bill that was actually looking to ban porn that he tried to claim was about monitoring people. No, it was about age identification on websites, having to show your ID, which is bad legislation, mind you, but it had nothing to do with anime and it had nothing to do with monitoring people. He just fucking lied about it. It's like, why lie? It's bad legislation. Truth is This is another thing I learned really early on when it came to journalism. Truth is stranger than fiction. You don't need to lie about shit because the actual story will be enough because life is fucking weird. It's just one of those things where, like, I find myself incredibly frustrated because I absolutely hate it. I don't mind clickbait. You gotta get people to click on things. Like, I use it. I will flat out say that I use it. The Unicorn Gundam is horrifying. That's clickbait. It gets you to want to click on the video. And it worked! That video's at, like, what, 75,000 views now? In, like, a week and a half? Which, for me, is pretty damn good. That's clickbait. This is a fucking lie. He should really come on and talk with you and on this and actually get educated. That will never happen. He does not. No, he's never going to do that. From what I understand, he deletes comments that challenge him on whether or not he's actually telling the truth on things. He's never gonna discuss it with anyone. Because here's the fact of the matter, dude. Would South Park be banned? No. Again, South Park does not have fucking child porn.
That one episode where Cartman's dick shows, no, it's not gonna get it banned. That's not enough.
Desort throws in a couple euros and says, "Greetings, Micah. It's currently 0.23 a.m. for me." I do not understand.
0.23?
Yeah,
Jesus.
0.23. He's French. You got to give him a little bit of grace. Unicorn being horrifying is actually kind of true, though. Yeah, but I'll admit that the title was absolutely clickbait, and I do it with other stuff too. You know, and that's the name of the game. You're supposed to get people to want to read it. And I don't. Again, I'm a journalist. I don't hold that against people. I've had to do it. I mean, I worked for Sports Kita for fuck's sake. Can you think of a publication out there outside of like Gawker that has more clickbait as fuck titles than Sports Kita? All right, like Jesus.
Yes. Especially their wrestling division.
Oh god, their wrestling division's fucking terrible. what was originally supposed to happen was I promised them, like, hey, if you have me edit the wrestling division 2, we'll clean it up and make it even better. And they're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And then they throw it to the higher ups, and then suddenly they want to cancel the contract. I'm like, ha. This is what I mean by people don't like honest journalists in the journalism business, guys. They really don't. It's kind of sad. Now you're South Park, dude. You are perfectly fine, man. And this is the thing. I apologize for saying it so bluntly. It's just one of those things where I am so sick of this shit, because maybe this is cringe of me, maybe this is lame, but I take my job seriously. I take all of it very seriously. Like, the time and effort it took for Hatman and I when we did our podcast together, we put a lot of time and effort into making sure we knew what we were talking about. And
yeah, absolutely.
And I've carried that same energy straight into what I do with this channel. Is like, I don't speak on something if I don't know what's going on. If I don't know, I find out. Because it's not hard to do research. It's just time consuming. Like that.
Yes.
That's what I learned in college, is that research was really easy if I had a set of headphones. Because I would just grab my MP3 player, throw on a pair of headphones, go to the library, grab a bunch of books, check them out, go back to my dorm room, and get to work. And it would take my day, but I would just listen to whatever album I hadn't listened to in a while. So, needless to say, my Master of Puppets CD, like, got ran almost blank.
Worn the hell out, huh?
Yeah. Netgear says, if it's true that Jast lied, that's not good on their end. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I have to preface again what it's in my opinion that they're lying, because there's no way to verify what they said was true. You know, because when I asked them, is like, were you, is this what you think, or did they actually say that? No, they would not say anything. The convention also refused to say anything. So it makes me wonder what's going on there. If both parties just want to forget that it ever happened, or if maybe there's a legal thing that's about to go on with the two of them. I don't know. But and this is an interesting one, because there's more questions about this. I feel like we need to go over a little bit more of the artistic merit thing. LinkedIn in chat asks, Hatman, given this law SB20 is going into effect, would the aerogay genre be under heavy scrutiny in the stuff being made available for purchase?
It might be under heavier scrutiny, but at the same time, the artistic merit is going to go a lot further than people think. See, this is what people don't understand, is that it's not prosecutors and judges that are going to entirely decide, what does and does not have artistic merit. These are jury questions. So you're going to have to find a group of 12 people who agree unanimously that something like that has absolutely no redeeming qualities to it whatsoever. I mean, in addition to, whether or not it's porn that is objectionable to the point where it is shameful. Like, that's what appealing to the prurient interest is. Like, shame behind it. Like, that's, you're obviously your CP and stuff, but that's also going to be like scat fetishes and shit.
Yeah.
Like, if it's literally just, two people going at it, is that really, invoke shame? I mean, maybe if you're, maybe if you grew up in a Catholic school or something, but
yeah,
we won't go there today.
Does it revile the public to find out that?
Right.
Because finding out that, like, somebody's a coomer doesn't really revile the public. It's just like, wow, that guy has no fucking life. But
No.
but
I mean, for God's sake, like everybody knows that people are attracted to sex and to sexy things. I mean, look at the fucking Sydney Sweeney ads, for example.
oh yeah,
Like it's one of those things where people are going to generally be a little more lenient than some of these clickbaiters want to give them credit for.
I mean,
but
the advertisement, like people probably don't know this because Miller v. California was so long ago. That was like what, 50 years ago? So this is
over
the
50 years ago, yeah, 1973.
So, that was over an advertisement, a very risque advertisement. So, and we've had, like, if I remember right, by current standards, the advertisement wouldn't be that risque now, in comparison, if I remember right. I might be remembering wrong.
Not really, no.
Let me.
I mean, advertising has gotten way more fucking risque, especially in the last decade or so.
Let me see if I can find it. It is not easily able to be found. But it had something to do with Hustler, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty risque. But Hustler's an adult magazine, like you expect for it to be what it is. It's one of those things that like a lot of people don't seem to understand, that like a lot of these things are going to be taken care of by the market itself. The one area that you're gonna run into problems, and it's going to be like hentai. Specifically if hentai is under the age of, I think it's 18. Like if there's a character under the age of 18 and it's purely about fucking, that's where there would probably be a court case about it. But even then, that's not primarily what they're looking for. Like you have to keep in mind, folks, like that statement is, the word maybe doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. Because it's not primarily what they're looking for. Each law that ever gets passed, there is a primary purpose for it. Something that they are specifically looking for. In this particular case, they define what they're looking for in the bill itself. Because they reference the Texas Penal Code. And this was what pissed me off in the original video. Because, quite literally, the definitions of words that are used in this, like promote and visual material, you can literally click them and read them. Like, I'll show you guys again, like, how easy it was for me to find it. Definition of promote, definition of visual material. One click of my middle mouse button. And I lost Hatman. Oh, he's just muted. And I also don't have his reaction image on this thing. So while he's muted, I'm going to fix
I'm not muted anymore.
There you go.
All right, Mrs. Hatman came home and I had to give her directions to finish cooking.
No worries. But anyway, but yeah, like the definition of everything in the penal code is here. So, because basically this section goes over sex crimes. Prostitution, sale, distribution or display of material harmful to minors, sexual performance by a child. So this particular section, I have to... Dusort is heading out, but he renews his membership, so thank you very much, my friend. Very much appreciated. I lost my place. Oh. That's public indecency. The problem with
Were you looking at the obscenity one specifically?
I wasn't meaning to, because it's below obscenity. Yeah, sexual performance.
Okay.
So, there is an entire section in the penal code that is stupid specific. So specific I can't really look at this for very long because it's going to get me demonetized. But it says sexual conduct means, and then it goes sexual contact, and then literally everything in regards to like what you would think in regards to what sexual conduct means. Performance, and then it tells you exactly what it's looking for. Produce, what it means. Promote, stimulated, deviate sexual intercourse, sexual contact, meanings assigned by section 4, and you can literally click on links and go straight to it. Like, it's very frustrating for me to see this and be like, just get very angry because, and oddly enough, Yo-Yo, that was a very well-timed super chat. Thank you for the $4.99. He says, you helped about, dude, I get the risk of it getting worse, but it's a thing, but this is not that time. Exactly. That's the thing. Collective shout, worth getting pissed about. Like, payment processors trying to fuck with people's completely legal purchases, something to get very angry about. Like, these are legitimate problems. And
EU censorship, worth getting pissed off about. This does not rise to that level. I've seen several people try to say, well, this is on the same level as the EU censorship or the payment processors trying to do things because it's all done in coordination. And this has little to nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, like, a lot of these laws that are popping up in the United States that have been discussed, they're not proposed by the same people. Some are federal, some are state. It's like, and then we're getting into this whole thing about like the amorphous blob of government, and it's like, all right, the libertarian in me wants to fucking strangle you for not knowing how civics work. So, because the next thing we're going to talk about is goalpost moving, which is very frustrating. Iggy asks a quick question, says, what do we think about AI art? It's shit.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, so people who make AI art, they're not artists. They're fucking garbage. Fuck clankers. Just fuck all. Get that shit out of here. I don't have the fuck 'em button, but if I did, I'd be clicking it like fucking hell right now. Servant throws in $5, says, geez, it's like the law is not vague and made to be overreaching. Heck, it's clearer than any of the goofs are saying. Yeah, compare this law to EU censorship law if you want to see vague shit.
Oh, yeah. No, even in relation to Miller, like, look at the Texas Penal Code's definition of obscenity. That is more descriptive than the Miller test is.
Yeah, it gets very specific. Texas was not fucking around. They did their due diligence. It's just the goalpost just keeps getting moved. Like, one dude tried to, we've gone over the whole thing about trying to say that, like, oh, it's not specific. It's very specific. Like, there's literally one little phrase, and the only time that these things are vague is when you take it out of context. So the next thing is like, and then people are just trying to claim like every anime with a little bit of sexuality is going to get banned. And it's like, no, you can still watch it right now. If, like, and this is something that people don't seem to understand. Do you think that Sony and Crunchyroll, or rather Crunchyroll that is owned by Sony, didn't have lawyers look over the fucking bill when they're based in Texas?
I mean, even beyond that, several states, I think it's 42 states, that's not even several, that's the vast majority of states, 42 states have laws banning obscene content. There is a federal law that was enacted in 2003 that specifically bans computer-generated depictions of CP. Not very far off from SB 20. Now, if there was ever any risk to your normie anime, to your normie adult cartoons, to anything like that, if there was ever any risk, it would have come up well before now. Well before now.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, again, Sony has a vested interest. Netflix has a vested interest. Amazon has a vested interest in the ability for people to watch and stream anime. Do you think that if this was actually going to affect their bottom line, do you think they wouldn't get involved? Come the fuck on. Like, use your brain. Yo-Yo throws in another well-timed super chat. He says, I even thought I'd say Family Guy or Law and Order, those would be targets if that was the case. Exactly. Because here's the thing. What happened when ID verification went up in Texas and I think another state in the union when it came to pornography? Immediately, the day it went live, you could not access Pornhub in those states because they weren't going to comply with the law. If this were the same thing, you would not be able to access Crunchyroll or certain sections of Amazon Prime, certain sections of Netflix, so on and so forth, at all. Keep in mind, folks, End of Evangelion is on Netflix, the shitty dub version. You want the real shit, watch the ADV dub. Seriously. I just spent $30 after I managed to track down a DVD of it, and it's supposed to come in tomorrow. I'm very happy.
$30?
Yeah, I'm surprised I got it for that low.
I was about to say, good God.
Folks, for those who don't know, the ADV dub, which is the superior dub of Evangelion, you can't find it anywhere. There's no, they're not reproducing it. It's only the Netflix dub.
The Nerve box set that is like the original series, and I think plus End of Evangelion. I don't know if it's got Birth and Death in it, but that is also stupid expensive. We're talking several hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, which it sucks because as long as Netflix has those distribution rights, the ADV dub is not gonna get published again. And it blows. Because if you watch the Netflix dub of Evangelion, then you go watch the Evangelion movies on Amazon, which have the ADV cast that they brought back to dub them. All 4 movies, by the way.
The rebuild movies, let's be specific.
Yeah, the rebuild movies. The rebuild sounds so much better. There's so much more life in it. Yo-Yo throws in another couple bucks, says, I didn't like the chibi double down. Yeah, that pissed me off too. It's like, dude, it's obvious you're not telling the truth here. And it's getting to the point where the truth is going to catch up to him. Because here's the thing. Chibi has a channel with 140,000 subscribers. He can safely ignore my fat ass. You know. He'll just, if people watch this and they go over and comment on his videos, he's just going to delete the comments. He's going to pretend that I don't exist. Because, generally speaking, that's how things tend to go until they fuck up and then people, hardcore. And then people are like, oh, this guy was right about him the whole time. You know? So that's what's going to happen. He's not going to even acknowledge that this stream is even happening, despite the fact that we've got over 70 people in here right now. So the fact of the matter is that it's ridiculous that he did it. It's ridiculous that he continues to lie about it, even though the information is out there that the opposite is true. He is effectively doing what I have seen leftist journalists do, like Taylor Lorenz. Just deny reality until it smacks you in the face and then pretend it didn't happen. Linked throws in another $10, says, from what I can gather, groups like Lilithsoft and Jast would be under scrutiny from the law to an extent, basically deepening on what series and content more than what they already are. The fact of the matter is that one of two things is going to have to happen. They're going to look at it and say, okay, this dojin has a 16-year-old getting fucked. I can't sell this in this state. That's basically it. And then the market will adjust for itself. Or somebody will be caught with possession of it, and then it would be added to a charge of something else, and then there would be something larger. But again, this doesn't seem like this is the priority for Texas. I'd have to go a little further into this. I'd have to actually, see if I could talk to, prosecutors in Texas to ask them about it. Which I might do. I mean, fuck. I'm an independent journalist. Gets you pretty far.
Lawyers like to talk.
Ain't that the truth? But the one thing that's also been frustrating is like the moving of the goalposts. Like one dude, Hatman, was laying into this doomer yesterday. And I laid into him a little bit too. I just called him a retard because he's retarded.
Who couldn't read.
Yeah, like he seems to think that the judicial branch and the executive branch are the same thing. Even though the biggest adversary for the president in both of his terms, the last one and this one, is the fucking judicial branch. They're supposed to be in conflict with one another. That's what the founding fathers wanted. If you weren't fucking jerking off when you were supposed to be paying attention in civics class, you'd fucking know that, wouldn't you? Instead, you listen to Alex Jones snort pixie sticks and go, Jesus Christ, people. So I get very frustrated by these fucking because it's one thing to not be a smart person. I don't hold it against people that are dumb and they know they're dumb. I one thing that I would often have whenever, because I was running the last business I ran before the current one that I run, is I would have dudes that worked for me would come up to me and go, Micah, I have no fucking clue what this paperwork is saying. Can you explain this to me? And I would. I don't, that will never make me angry, ever. Because everybody's brain is different. Some people are smarter than others. Some people can be of equal intelligence, but have better understandings of certain subjects. And I never will ever have a problem with that. I have a problem with people who are ignorant and prefer to stay ignorant. That makes me very frustrated. How the fuck can you choose to be retarded when you have the option not to be?
I mean, Alex Jones said it. And I still listen to him.
Indeed. How do Americans not know about the separation of powers? Willful ignorance, so they didn't pay attention in civics. Though civics for me was actually built into my history class when I was in high school. We had a whole section about the founding of the United States and the separation of powers and all this stuff. But people don't seem to understand that all three branches of the United States government are meant to check each other consistently. That's why we have a thing where a member of the judiciary stated that Trump sending troops into Los Angeles was illegal. That will, of course, get challenged and appealed. That will go to the Supreme Court. And then it will go from there. That's the way it was designed. It was meant to do that. So if the government is the amorphous blob and you think that them botching the Epstein shit has anything to do with this, I question your intelligence, because it's kind of clear that they're constantly in conflict with one another. And then are we forgetting the Obama years? I'm old. I'm obviously an old man. You can see all the gray hairs here, but I remember quite clearly. I have a pen, I have paper, and I'm going to use it. I remember that speech because he was basically giving Congress the finger because they were in opposition to what he was doing.
Yep. Even before him, FDR. Oh, well, the Supreme Court isn't going to let through some of my New Deal shit. Well, if they don't do it, I'll just appoint more judges to the Supreme Court. I'll pack the court, and then they won't have a choice but to pass my shit through.
Yep. Recency bias going wild. With the Obama thing, yeah, I guess. it's just one thing that when I became politically aware, he was the president. The fact of the matter is that The willful ignorance of how civics works, to just stay a doomer and to be retarded, is wild to me. You're considered unk status the moment you're over 30. Then I've been unk for 9.5 years.
Oof.
I turned 40 in December.
Oof.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. What makes it worse? My knees feel it.
Oof.
That makes me very upset. Because prior to the last couple of years, Hatman can attest to this. For a big guy, I can move if I need to.
Yep.
But now I have to. Now, if I want to be able to do that, I have to have my knee braces on. So
getting old sucks.
It really does. Because my joints.
With that, though.
Oh, go ahead, partner.
I've got to get out of here because I've got weapons to go see. For anybody who wants like my complete thoughts on SB20 and everything, there's a thread on Twitter that I posted. It's long, but I say it's worth the read. It breaks down everything and why people are lying about it, basically. If you want to pull it up for the rest of the show, feel free to.
I am doing that right now. I'm actually going to link this. And people, you can find Hatman over on X at the Hat2.
I'm sorry, I dead named Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't respect Twitter's transition. What is that? The Hatman does not respect pronouns after 3 a.m. Bitch, I don't do it at all.
Oh, Woo is gonna get mad at you in your DMs again.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm out of here. It's been a great time, y'all. Don't be stupid.
Exactly. See you later, partner.
Later.
Like old times, man. Seriously. I won't lie, guys. I miss the Micah and the Hatman podcast. On the Grind is awesome, too. Don't get me wrong. But Hatman and I, as you can see, have a very unique chemistry that, is not easily duplicated. Which is why I'm glad he's my business partner. Because I genuinely, and especially at this point, have now realized there's nobody else on this planet I could run a business with other than him. Like, it's insane. So, yeah. But, I have to say, like, this again is just sort of like where I'm sitting with this. We're at a point where you can either choose ignorance or you can choose to be educated. Hatman is obviously a law student. He has an understanding of this. You can literally find the bill online. If you're too lazy to search it, Grok can literally pull this up for you. Like, I don't like advertising for fucking clankers, but we're at a point where research for things is becoming that much easier because of AI. It is the one thing that it is actually good at doing. Like, hey Grok or hey Copilot, pull up this law or this bill for me, and then answer questions. Jake Blacklock in chat says, if Chibi is so worried about my state banning anime, then he should really consider erasing his flash drive. And while I'm on that thought, what is on his flash drive? I don't know all the details, but from what I understand, because this is how fucking stupid this guy is, he apparently went to Britain with a porn app on his phone that was banned in Britain. Now, again, I am not for porn bans. I think that they're fucking stupid, and I think that the sex industry should be very regulated. It shouldn't be illegal. And I even mean prostitution. Even though I have a moral opposition to prostitution. I think that Nevada has it right on that one. I think that they're doing things better than a lot of other places. Because it prevents a fucking black market from coming around. So, do I think that there should be a ban? No. But if I'm going to China or Japan or, well, I would never probably do business in China, but let's say I go to Japan, right? Let's say that I hit it big on one of my stories, and I go over there and to speak with a company that wants to distribute it in Japan, right? So I go over there for business. If there's anything on my phone I'm not supposed to have in Japan, I'm deleting it and I'll pick it back up later. Like, can you seriously not wait to nut until you get home? How much of a fucking coomer are you? Like, you're a grown-ass man, even though you don't look it. Show some fucking self-discipline. Have a good one, Yo-Yo. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. Smiling Dog says banning porn is just so stupid as well. Just make a regulation for the same goes again. Like, yeah, exactly. That's my perspective on it. Like, the porn industry has a ton of laws that are tied to it. You know, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be done. You can't moralize away, or you can't you can't ban sin. It's going to happen. Prostitution is like the meme around it is that it's the oldest job in existence, right? You know, it's just the way that it is. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the microphone there. Or using something that's a substitute. Yeah, it's just something like, how the fuck can you just be so dumb about it? But this is something that admittedly I've learned a lot with people who are very coon-brained. They do really dumb shit. They don't really seem to understand that, like, there's a time and a place for something. You know? And that, like, that's why when people tell me that sex addiction doesn't exist, I laugh in their fucking face. Like, you're a fucking retard if you think sex addiction doesn't exist. The, side note, he doesn't always have the pedo stash, if I remember correctly. Just woke up one day to decide porn mustache is a good idea. I'm going to say this right now. There are very few people that can pull off just having a mustache. Very few people. Most of the people that I have seen that have pulled it off are buff or in really good shape. If you're fat and you only have the mustache, you just look like a mall cop. Or you look like a pedophile. You know? Like, it's just not... If you can't grow the beard, just go clean shaven, man. And if you got a turkey neck like I do, and you can't grow a beard, you might as well just start getting in shape, man. Because, fuck. You know, or just live with it. Because for some people, it's genetic. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Angry Cops or not. That dude's in pretty good shape. And he's got a turkey neck. You know? If I didn't have this here, you'd see mine. It's just a genetic thing. I have no chin. So. Or you look like Kevin James. Well, that's what I meant with mall cop, you know? There's very few people that can pull off just a mustache. You know? And even then, I've got a pretty nice beard. But I have to trim this sucker properly or else it looks like a fucking mess. You know? It takes work. I don't even look that good. I look kind of messy. But yeah. GB's just fear-mongering at this point. Pretty much. Pretty much. And so is the other dude that I noticed, like... I don't remember what... Otaku Spirit, that was it. He actually commented on the video that I did and refused to take any responsibility for the shit he got wrong. Refused to take responsibility. And I was like, holy shit, how can you be this brazen about it? It's like, do you not have any shame? Like, what the fuck? Is the Texas law in effect? It was in effect. It went into effect yesterday. Black-pilled fear-mongering, in fact. Yeah. Black pilling is a grift. I've gone on this rant before, but I think I'm going to go on it again. Black pilling is like a major fucking grift. I'm more on team nothing ever happens. You know? Like, I'd like you to consult the chart. Um, and by the way, I have no problem with nothing ever happening. It's when things are happening that you should get worried. But my problem with blackpilling is that they're selling you on the idea that the sky is falling, right? But it's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, eventually what's going to happen, somebody's going to look up and notice the sky is not falling. Blackpilling is for Melvins. Exactly, dude. It's like, shut up, Melvin. I don't know why that came up. Like, that's one of those things that, like, Vanilla Gorilla, it just came up organically. It's just, like, who is someone that, I thought of a name at some point that was like, who is a person I've never agreed with someone named Melvin. I've only ever met 2 people named Melvin in my life. One of them was just kind of a dick, and I didn't like being around him, so I just wasn't. But to his credit, he went by Mel instead of Melvin. Then the other guy was just some fucking prick with Coke bottle frame glasses that I went to camp with one year when I was a kid. And I just hated his fucking guts. Black pills or cuck pills. Funny you mention that. There's an exorbitant amount of them that end up being into cuckolding. Melvin, the brother of the Joker. Why does that ring a bell, but I don't remember where it's from? I remember it being a channel. Was it Linkara? I want to say that was a Linkara thing. Because it's incredibly unfunny. You know? It's a Doug Walker thing. Wow. I was remembering that wrong. The one thing I remembered is just it not really landing. You know? But that's like internet humor for you. Some of it just doesn't land. Is it that the black pill cuckold vortex? It kind of feels like it, you know? It's just one of those things. It's really, really weird. And I'll never really understand it. Both Hirohei and Chibi are clickbaiters to the nth degree. I don't mind Hirohei as much though. I've talked with him once. He's a nice guy. Like again, I don't disrespect the hustle. I just my line is when you're not being truthful. You know. One thing that is kind of interesting though, people that are members and are in my Discord server will know what I'm talking about. I initially thought it was kind of bullshit that the convention didn't want to answer my question about when they asked the fucking porn salesman to, and I use that as shorthand, to leave. I'm like, why the fuck couldn't they just say, yeah, that wasn't what was said to them? It's like, it's just such an easy clarification. And I'm like, well, maybe it's something legal. And then next thing I see is that there was a fucking bomb threat at the convention. Did you guys see this? I know that Legal Mindset did a fast facts on it earlier, but this was wild when I saw it. So this is from News 4 San Antonio. This is the same convention. Kendra Noelle Manning, 25, a social media influencer, was arrested Sunday after police said she threatened to plant a bomb at San Japan Anime and Gaming Convention held last weekend at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. I looked a little bit more into her. She's a cosplayer. Replied to an Instagram story posted by another booth renter writing planting a bomb in their booth today in reference to her dislike of the gaming nutrition company GamerSups. By the way, guys, like this is the sort of thing that is the reason that I really dislike lying about things. We all know why this sort of thing is happening. Is she hot? Not real. She didn't look at there. Why it would be GamerSup specifically that someone would want to bomb. We know why. Because of the Fox woman. Because all the fucking, like, and this is what really pissed me off about, like, Heavenly Father and fucking other people virtue signaling, like, oh, I'm not, I'm not gonna put, like ask you guys to subscribe to GamerSups. I'm gonna just do and be all fucking mealy mouth about it. It's like, bitch, they're a drink company. That's it. This, like, you're Kirsch breathes air. Are you suddenly against air? No? Shut the fuck up. It drives me fucking crazy. Drives me absolutely fucking crazy. Like, you're still taking money from them. You still got a code. Because at the end of the day, you want the fucking waifu cup. Everybody does. Because that means more money. You know? And by the way, again, I get it. I'm at a point where my channel is getting big enough to where I'm getting sponsor offers. Like, I understand the hustle. I understand it better than a lot of people. Have a good one, Gabe. But I don't really, like, I don't hold it against people. I really don't. But don't fucking shoot yourself in the foot. Like, if it really bothered you that much, you would just quietly exit. You know, and you would find another hustle. But you don't. Why? Because you want the money. And by the way, I've got nothing against it. If this is your job in broadcasting, do you know how you make money in broadcasting, guys? Advertisements, sponsorships, merch. It's just the truth of broadcasting. It's been the truth of it forever. You want sponsorships, you want advertisements, and if you could sell merchandise, sell it. You know? Every radio station that I ever saw, including the one that was my very first job, they sold shirts. You could walk into the office, buy a t-shirt if you wanted to, if you really like the station that much. I would know, I sold them. Like, and I'm the same way. You know, I'm working on, having a shirt to sell. And like I said, like, I'm getting sponsorship offers from people, and other work offers that are related to YouTube. And I'm going to take them. Because money is nice. I want to make a living doing this. Because fuck every other job I've ever had. You know? Broadcasting when it came to work was my first love. You know? I've always loved writing too, but I wasn't making money off of it. I'm still not. You know? That's just something I got to build as time goes on. Did I see the new Helldivers update? I do not play Helldivers anymore. But yeah, that's capitalism. Billy Donut says people are more than willing to pay for donuts. Amen. That was something I made sure to do during my vacation. Like, I ordered a dozen fucking from Krispy Kreme, dude, like, and I indulged. I was a happy man. I love me some Krispy Kreme. Guys on Unsub have mentioned that they make more money off of merch sales than they do off of YouTube ads. Merch is really important. Exactly. Kai gets it correct. And I'm in the same boat, you know? And let's be honest, like, since I've been able to put more energy into content here on YouTube, it's a lot better than it used to be. You know? And granted, I credit Shirt Dude with a lot of that, because he's been a fucking godsend. You know? Do I play Halo? Yeah. I enjoy, I enjoyed everything up until the end of the Bungie run, and then I really liked the campaign for Infinite. The campaign for Infinite was great. Multiplayer was kind of just okay. I only play one multiplayer mode in Halo, and it's Vehicle CTF. Like, especially if you can get it on big maps. Blood Gulch CTF, best multiplayer mode ever, in my opinion. Unless you're talking about CTF and Unreal Tournament, then, you know, it's even better, to be truthful with you. New Helldivers update has a crossover with ODST. I'm still not going to play it, just because the head of Helldivers, like the creator of it, basically came out and said it was a psyop, like to see if he could get people to cheer for a fascist government. And I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like, get your fucking head out of your ass. Like, then I'm not playing it then. Like, I feel it legitimately makes me feel dirty. Because it's like, dude, you ruined the fun. Like, the fun was how fucking absurd the universe of Helldivers is. It's fucking crazy. Like, because it's basically Starship Troopers, but with 40k enemies, right? The Terminids, they're Tyranids, you know, mixed with the bugs from Starship Troopers. Then you've got Terminators, which are basically, you know, the fucking Necrons before they were, you know, before Matt Ward actually fixed them, which that's a sentence that you never thought you would probably hear from me. But admittedly, Matt Ward made the Necrons interesting. He just can't make Space Marines interesting because he fucking sucks with Space Marines. He really needs to stop writing codexes. Yeah, that's enough of that rant from me. I think Infinite was good, but Halo 4 is better. I don't agree. I liked Halo Infinite a lot more. Halo 4 didn't really keep my attention. It was too linear for me. So he ruined the fun aspect by admitting people try to smear what people try to smear Starship Troopers with. Kinda, sorta. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, you don't understand why your audience likes this. You know? Like, we're in on the joke. We're in on the joke. We know why you do it, you know? And there's nothing wrong with satirizing fascism. I'm not going to complain. I'm part Jew. I don't like fascists. They tend to want to shove me in an oven. Just saying. Same thing with the Soviets. But well, actually, they just want me to starve in the Holodomor, however you pronounce it. But it's just like, brr. It's like, man, you don't need to be. You want to know what that statement from the creator was basically? Him being a Redditor. People who are 40k fans, that are like legit 40k fans, hate Redditors because Redditors are the fucking worst. Actually, did you know that this is parroting all the things that you say you like? Actually, it's trying to see if it can make you do this thing. Actually, this is the way I know. Shut the fuck up. I'm having fun. That's what the dude did. He's just being a fucking Redditor. It's like, dude, fuck off. I'm not playing your shit now. You're being an asshole. Reach is better than 4 in my eyes. 5 too fast paced with its movement. To be a Halo game, Infinite fell on its face, not having couch, co-op, or forge. I like. I'm gonna be honest. I play Halo for its campaigns more often than not, so it didn't really bother me because the campaign was so fucking good. Now, if you're more of like, if your way of doing things is with Halo, it's like, this is my default game. This is the game that when I come home after my day at work, I want to play for a few hours and then, eat dinner, jerk off, and go to bed. Then I understand the frustration. That's not me. My default game usually is professional, like a pro wrestling game or something. Or it has now become Space Marine 2. Because Space Marine 2 is fucking awesome. Isn't the Imperium man a fascist or an authoritarian regime? They're an authoritarian regime. The thing about the Imperium, they are technically an autocracy. Because they were run by the High Lords of Terra. Now it is actually back to being an empire because it's run by the son of the Emperor in Rabute Guilliman. So now it's just an empire again. But it is very authoritarian. That is true. At the same time, it's also an authoritarianism where you can understand certain aspects of it. No, not a theocracy. It's the Imperium is not a theocracy. It has a state religion, but the state religion right now is tolerated. If Guilliman could completely dismantle the ecclesiarchy tomorrow, he would. Because Guilliman, is a Primarch that is very much, in line with the Imperial truth, even before he knew about chaos. He was all in. There's a reason that he's the one that burned Monarchia. That the Emperor went to him to burn Monarchia. Guilliman was all on board with it. He always has been. Because keep in mind, the Emperor didn't go to the Primarch known for setting things on fire to burn a holy city. So yeah, it's not a theocracy. Yep, I got you, General Joe. Any plans on playing Daemon Ex Machina Titanic Scion? I don't know anything about it. Recent works have had Guilliman questioning his worldviews and whether or not he's a demigod. Yeah, the Plague Wars, very interesting. I haven't finished them yet, but they're very interesting. The book that I started in on recently, was it Son of the Forest? I don't think it was Son of the Forest. I own it. No, it was. I've been listening to the Raven Guard audio dramas. Because for those who don't know, I am a big Raven Guard fan. The Raven Guard are my second favorite chapter. My favorite being the Salamanders, obviously. In fact, one of my favorite Horus Heresy stories comes from Sherokin, who was a Shadow Walker. Testing out his abilities on a ship where he was on with salamanders as well. And he's just stalking around the ship on holding onto the roof, right? And then a salamander walks into the room, and salamanders can see heat. So he looks around, then he looks up, and he sees Sherokin there. And he goes, "Brother, what is wrong with the floor?" And Sherokin's like, "He can see me?" But yeah, it's the Raven Guard audio dramas are really, really good. A lot of the guys who did, if anybody has seen the Warhammer Plus series, Angels of Death, which follows the Blood Angels, a lot of the same voice actors. But it actually deals with the Shadow Walkers of the Raven Guard and successors. Because for those who don't know, if you are a son of Corvus Corax, you actually have a chance of being one. Yeah, Angel Exterminatus, Shuriken's badass. Yeah, Shuriken's fucking awesome. Space Wolves, yes. Space Wolves are another one of my favorites. Top 5 for me: Salamanders, Raven Guard, Space Wolf, or, well, actually, Salamanders, Raven Guard, Black Templars, Space Wolves, Carcharodons. Could the Omnissiah manifest as a genuine warp entity? I'm of the opinion that belief of him is actually being channeled into the Emperor, because, and this is just a theory, if you read Mechanicum, which is a Horus Heresy book, and you learn about the great lie of Mars and what is beneath Mars, you start to realize, ah, fuck. He planned the whole thing. Kind of horrifying. The Tau and the Chaos are most immoral factions 40k from what I've seen. I would switch out the Tau for the Drukhari. What are my thoughts on the Lamenters? Love them. They're number 6 for me. The Lamenters are really, really cool because they're a really good example of being kind does not mean that you cannot be tough. Because one thing that people don't understand about the Lamenters, they have shitty luck. They're very nice guys. They inherited their father's grace and kindness. Because for those who don't know, there are 2 nice guys. Well, nice guy Primarchs, the ones that are like the gentlest, I guess you could say. Vulcan, duh. Number 2 is Sanguinius. Number 3 is Corvus. In my opinion, the Lamenters are more of a reflection of Sanguinius as we get to know him in the Heresy than a lot of the other successor chapters, because they understand his heart. And that was part of the reason why Sanguinius and Vulcan got along so well, is they're very much the same mind in that regard. The Lamenters, people don't realize this. When they fought the Minotaurs, it was not a stomping. If you read Imperial Armor, both sides lost hundreds of soldiers. The problem is that it's the fucking Minotaurs. They are better equipped than most Space Marine chapters. And on top of that, their chapter master, arguably the best hand-to-hand combatant of all chapter masters in the setting. And they fought until there was only a couple hundred Lamenters left, and apparently there was only like 350 Minotaurs that were left after the conflict. The Lamenters are tough. One Lamenter sniper managed to drop a fucking hive tyrant. Like, it's... They have a lot of very skilled guys, because they survived a penitent crusade. They survived 100 years with shitty equipment, having to fight the Tyranids and stay alive. And they did it. They lost half their men, but losing like a soldier per year against a hive fleet. They're fucking badasses. The like, hot take, but Gabriel Seth, when it comes to the conflict between him and Malachim Foros, Gabriel Seth doesn't want that smoke as much as he thinks he does. Honestly. Aren't the Minotaurs just space Spartans? Yes. They are this is not confirmed, but they are meant by the guy who created them to be Iron Hand's successor. Or not Iron Hand's, Iron Warrior's successors. So they're sons of Perturabo, which is part of the reason why they're so fucking tough. Have a good one, Dennis. Who would win, the Black Templars or the Minotaurs? The Templars would win that because they have more numbers. The Black Templars, they are still a chapter, and from what I understand, they're still Codex compliant. So they're only going to have a maximum of about 1,000 guys at any given time. The Templars have thousands. I think that it's like 5,000 men. So if you put all the Templars against all of the Minotaurs, the Templars are going to have 5 times the amount of guys. They're going to have, especially a bunch of dudes that, like, they're veterans. They fight all the time. They go from crusade to crusade to crusade. They are battle-tested swordsmen. It's sort of like the difference between, like, a guy who has been training in a martial art for, like, 10, 20 years is going to be a very skilled person. But there's certain things that they're not going to know because if they haven't been in competition. The competition guy, the guy who's going out and winning competitions, he's the scarier one. Because not only does he know the techniques, he knows how to break the rules. So they're going to be able to... They're going to fight in ways that the Minotaurs not really going to expect. And with a fervor that... that they're not going to be expecting. So... And yeah, I wouldn't want to... Like, the chapter master of the Minotaurs is a bad dude. He's very good. Like, again, he's rumored to be the best. But from what I understand, he ain't fighting that often. Helbrecht fights all the time. Helbrecht is like one of the best swordsmen in the Imperium, if not the best outside of the Lion. Like, he's very good at what he does. And again, it's one of those things that he just understands how to fight because he does it so much. Helbrecht's scary. the man is frightening. He survived fighting Imatech the Stormlord one-on-one. And almost killed Imatech. They did damage to each other. He took Helbrecht's hand, but Helbrecht tagged him with a crack grenade that almost killed him. Isn't Fulgrim to this day one of the best sword users in 40k? Yeah, he was one of the best duelists of the Primarchs. The best was the Lion. The Lion was the most skilled among all of them. He was... and is still incredible with a sword. Fulgrim, I would say he's pretty up there. I wouldn't say number 2. I'm of the opinion in close quarters combat the Lion would smoke him. But then again, the Lion's the best. He might be the... I would have to say either him or Jagatai are number 2. But you could argue that Fulgrim might be a little bit more skilled because the reason that part of the reason Jagatai is as good as he is because he's got speed as an advantage. Yeah, Sanguinius was also really good. Super skilled. Vulcan really good in a scrap. Largely though, like Vulcan's swordsman skills are underrated. He literally killed two war bosses in a day. That both were described to be pretty huge. Like they were bigger than him, meaning that they were bigger than Gaz, which is saying something. Horus Heresy lore is fucking wild. But yeah, Sanguinius was good. Like Sanguinius beat Angron. Beat Demon Angron. Though on the other hand, Demon Angron kind of sucks. I'd have to say, like, if there's a Primarch in martial combat that is the two that are the most overrated, I would probably say would be Angron, and then as much as I like him, Leman Russ. Like, Russ beat Magnus, but the reason that Russ beat Magnus is because Russ managed to get Magnus in a fight that benefited Russ. Close quarters. Which admittedly with Magnus, he tends to, like, Magnus, if Magnus dumped the amount of magic that he dumped on Vulcan, he would have killed Russ. They were Krork big, something like that. They were pretty huge. I know Dante's considered one of the best fighters at 40k, but I would chalk that up to experience, not necessarily. That's what I would do. Dante is the guy that he knows everything because he's done it all. You know, fear the old man in a game where good men die young. That's Dante in a nutshell. Because like it's actually part of Dante's story that he did not start out as the best. He was actually, as a soldier, kind of middle of the road. But just as time went on, he just got better and better and better and better because he just kept working hard at it. He's a very blue-collar character in that way. What Space Marine chapter do you hate with a burning passion that isn't a Chaos or Traitor Legion? The Death Specters. The Death Specters are needlessly edgy. Needlessly edgy. I really don't like them. For those who don't know who they're sons of Corvus, but they don't act like it. Like they don't act anything like a Raven Guard successor. And what makes them so fucking edgy is they're basically the cog from fucking Gears of War, where they actually have a breeding planet that is meant to breed children that they can use for the Astartes program. It's so fucking edgy. It's like, Jesus Christ. I thought it would be the Flesh Terrors. The Flesh Terrors, in my opinion, are overrated. But I realize that my thing is that I just hate their chapter master. More so than I hate the rest of the chapter. Because Gabriel Seth fucking sucks. But no, I hate the ones that are like Grimderp. It's like, Jesus. Like, they're edgy for the sake of being edgy, as opposed to like being well written. All right, guys, it is getting warm in here, because these lamps tend to heat things up. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We are back though. We are back. New video coming out, and then on top of that, Grips War Part 4. Shirt Dude is working on it now. Hopefully, it will be done by next week, so that members can get it early, and then of course people who aren't members will see it afterwards. If you're not a member already, please do not hesitate to become one. It is very well worth it, at least I think so. But I'm admittedly biased. I also want to say a big thank you to people for being generous with their super chats today as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. I think I'm done shilling. Go back Black Rhapsody as well. Link in the description. Have yourselves a great one, guys. Appreciate you all. I will see you next week. No Doomer.